Michael never imagined that a routine flight would end in terror. As the plane entered the Bermuda Triangle, a violent storm tore through the cabin. Metal screeched, lights flickered, and passengers screamed. In the chaos, Michael found himself hurled into the ocean, clutching a small life raft. Alone, he floated in the endless blue, heart pounding, with no land in sight. Survival had just begun. The first night was the hardest. Waves crashed relentlessly, and the cold pierced Michael's bones. Sharks circled in the darkness, their eyes glinting. Hunger gnawed at him, and salt water burned his throat. He prayed for a miracle, clinging to the raft as if it were a lifeline to the world he once knew. Each second felt eternal, and the ocean seemed determined to swallow him whole. By day 3, Michael had fashioned a rudimentary fishing line from his shoelaces and parts of the raft. He caught tiny fish, barely enough to keep him alive. The sun was both friend and enemy, burning his skin by day, guiding him with its light, yet leaving him freezing at night. He started marking days on the raft with scratches, each one a silent testament to his will to survive. On the 10th day, he spotted a shadow beneath the water, a massive shape moving with eerie grace. It was a colossal fish, unlike anything he had ever seen, almost prehistoric. Fear gripped him, but he also felt awe. The creature followed him for hours, circling the raft. Michael realized he had entered a world where nature reigned supreme, indifferent to human life, yet strangely mesmerizing. Michael learned to ration everything meticulously. Rainwater collected in a makeshift tarp became his only fresh water. Storms battered him, tossing him into the ocean repeatedly. At night, the stars became his compass. He spoke to them, imagining someone, anyone, listening from the skies. Despair whispered in his mind, but he refused to answer. Survival was not a choice, it was an instinct he could not abandon. By day 20, hallucinations began. He saw islands that vanished when approached, voices that called from nowhere. The Bermuda Triangle seemed to toy with him, stretching reality like rubber. Sometimes he glimpsed wreckage of ships that no longer existed on any map. Michael's mind teetered between clarity and madness, but he clung to hope. The ocean could be cruel, yet he refused to surrender. A week later, he was attacked by a rogue wave, flinging him into the water. His raft flipped, and he fought to climb back. Exhaustion threatened to paralyze him, yet something deeper, an unyielding survival instinct, kept him alive. He whispered promises to himself. He would see land again. He would tell the story. He would survive. Each heartbeat was both a prayer and a defiance against death. By day 40, Michael had adapted. He could fish with uncanny skill, navigate the currents, and even predict storms. A sense of eerie companionship grew with the ocean creatures around him. Dolphins occasionally appeared, guiding him past treacherous reefs. Yet, a shadow lingered, a sense that something in the triangle watched, a presence as old as the sea itself, waiting, observing. Midway through his ordeal, Michael discovered a partially submerged shipwreck. Climbing aboard was perilous, but inside he found crates of canned food and water salvage that saved him from starvation. He also discovered journals from previous victims, warnings scrawled in desperation. Reading them, he realized he was not the first to endure this nightmare, and yet, somehow, he would be the one to survive. By day 60, Michael had become a shadow of the man he once was. His body was sunburned, scarred, and gaunt, but his spirit burned brighter than ever. He could hear the ocean in a way few humans could, predicting storms and avoiding danger. Every sunrise was a small victory, every wave a reminder of the battle he had fought, and deep down, he knew that his rescue, when it came, would be nothing short of miraculous. By day 70, Michael faced his darkest hours. A storm of unprecedented fury tore through the ocean, tossing his raft like a toy. Waves higher than skyscrapers crashed down, and lightning illuminated the black chaos. He fought to stay afloat, gripping every rope and strap. For hours, it seemed the ocean would claim him, but his will burned hotter than the storm around him. The 41st day dawned with an eerie calm. Michael floated silently, listening to the distant cries of seabirds. His body ached, muscles stiff from constant exposure to salt water and sun. Yet, his mind remained alert, scanning the horizon for anything land, ships, or signs of life. Every ripple on the surface could mean food, danger, or a miracle. Each breath was a victory. By day 42, he spotted a massive shadow beneath the raft. Fear froze him as the shape circled, surfacing briefly. It was a giant manta ray, graceful but imposing. Michael realized the ocean was full of creatures indifferent to his survival. He made a mental note: respect, caution, and observation could keep him alive longer than brute strength ever could. Storm clouds gathered on day 43, darkening the sky. Michael secured his meager belongings and held the raft tightly. The wind howled, and rain lashed down like needles. He prayed silently, not for rescue, but simply to survive this night. When the storm passed, he counted himself lucky to be alive. The ocean had tested him yet again, and he had endured. On day 44, he discovered a floating barrel. Inside were scraps of provisions, dried fish, and rainwater stored in a plastic container. It was a small fortune. Michael's spirit lifted. Hope flickered stronger than before. Every morsel and sip was carefully rationed. He realized survival was not just endurance, but strategy, patience, and keen observation. By day 45, Michael had mastered the art of fishing with improvised tools. Hooks from broken parts, lines from shoelaces, bait from seaweed. Fish became a reliable source of energy, though small, keeping him alive. He also fashioned a crude sunshade from tarps, protecting himself from burning sun. Resourcefulness became as vital as hope. On day 46, a flock of seabirds appeared, hovering and diving near the raft. Michael observed them carefully, tracking their movements. Birds often indicated land or fish. Following them was risky, but the possibility of discovering a nearby island or floating debris gave him renewed energy. Every instinct was sharpened by desperation. Day 47 brought another terrifying encounter. A pod of sharks circled the raft. Michael froze, heart racing, holding still. The sharks eventually swam away, but the adrenaline lingered. He realized that calm, careful movements could be the difference between life and death. Fear became a tool, not an enemy. By day 48, Michael discovered a floating crate with a mysterious symbol. Inside, a few cans of food and a water bottle. He was amazed yet wary, knowing anything could be left by accident or misfortune. These small discoveries became morale boosters, moments reminding him that the ocean, while deadly, occasionally offered gifts. Day 49 introduced hallucinations again. Shapes in the waves appeared like giant sea serpents. He shook his head, forcing logic to override fear, but the illusion reminded him isolation warps perception. Maintaining mental clarity was as critical as physical survival. He whispered encouragement to himself, a private ritual against the sea's cruelty. By day 50, Michael had a routine: fish at dawn, collect rainwater, ration food, mark days on the raft, and scan for distant signs of land. The ocean seemed endless, yet the routine anchored him. Each sunrise was a new chance to survive, a small miracle he didn't take for granted. Even amidst despair, determination burned fiercely. Day 51 brought another storm, but Michael was more prepared. He used the tarp as a makeshift sail to stabilize the raft and brace against waves. The wind roared, waves slapped violently, but he rode through the chaos. It was exhausting, terrifying, but he learned that courage and knowledge of the sea could overcome fear. On day 52, he saw a distant glimmer, possibly sunlight reflecting on a small object. Michael paddled cautiously. It was a floating lifeboat from an unknown shipwreck. He scavenged supplies, dried food, a bottle of water, and a small first aid kit. Each discovery became a lifeline, reinforcing that survival often depended on the ocean's unpredictable generosity. By day 53, Michael had mastered the art of conserving energy. Floating, observing, minimal movement, all to prevent exhaustion. The human body could survive longer if preserved, he realized. Every choice mattered: which way to drift, when to fish, when to rest. Survival became strategy, instinct sharpened to a razor. Day 54 introduced another challenge. Jellyfish swarmed nearby. One sting could be fatal. He carefully navigated, avoiding contact, learning the subtle patterns of dangerous creatures. Each encounter reinforced respect for the ocean's deadly beauty. Fear and admiration coexisted, shaping his perception of the vast, merciless waters. By day 55, Michael's skin was sunburned, cracked, yet he was resilient. Hunger and thirst were constant companions, but he managed. Every fish caught, every sip of water, every breath of fresh air felt like a triumph. Survival was no longer hope alone, it was discipline, patience, and unwavering persistence. Day 56 brought a miraculous moment. A pod of dolphins appeared, swimming alongside his raft. Michael marveled at them, feeling a strange sense of companionship. The dolphins guided him around treacherous reefs, helping him avoid disaster. The ocean offered moments of wonder amidst relentless trials, a reminder of life's delicate balance. By day 57, Michael discovered a floating buoy. It had markings he didn't recognize, but it gave him a sense of direction. The currents of the triangle were chaotic, yet by observing objects like this, he started navigating more effectively. Each small victory against disorientation boosted his confidence and renewed his will. Day 58 brought heavy rains. The sudden deluge replenished his water supply, but lightning struck nearby, terrifying him. Michael huddled under the tarp, hard hammering. Nature's unpredictability became his daily reality. Every moment required vigilance. Survival was a dance with chaos, and he had learned the steps. By day 59, Michael began documenting his experiences on scraps of paper he had salvaged. Each entry was a testament to endurance, the storms, fish, hallucinations, creatures, and floating wreckage. Writing kept his mind sharp, reminding him he was still human, still capable of reasoning, planning, and hope. Day 60 arrived, a milestone. Michael floated in silence, reflecting on 2 months alone in the Bermuda Triangle. He had endured storms, predators, and isolation. The ocean had tested his body, mind, and spirit, yet he survived. He whispered a quiet promise to himself. Every day forward would be another battle, but he was ready to face whatever the triangle threw at him next. Day 61 started with an ominous fog. Visibility dropped to a few meters, and Michael's raft drifted blindly. Every shadow seemed alive, every sound a threat. He clutched his makeshift paddle, heart racing. The ocean felt alive, almost sentient, testing his nerves. He whispered to himself a mantra of survival, repeating it like a lifeline against the encroaching uncertainty. By day 62, hunger pressed harder than ever. Michael rationed the last scraps of dried fish. He spotted flying fish leaping nearby, giving him a fleeting chance. With careful timing, he caught one, a small victory that saved him from despair. Survival had become instinctual, a constant calculation of risk, opportunity, and hope. On day 63, a sudden storm struck. Waves crashed over the raft, tossing Michael into icy water. Lightning split the sky, thunder deafening. He fought to reach the raft, gasping, trembling. Each second felt like eternity. When the storm passed, he clung to life with a mix of relief and awe. Nature's fury was merciless, yet he endured, fueled by an unyielding will. Day 64 brought calm, but Michael sensed the ocean's quiet warning. The triangle was unpredictable. He spotted floating debris, a shattered lifeboat, and crates. Carefully, he scavenged supplies, water, canned food, a small first aid kit. These small finds were miracles, lifelines that reinforced the fragile thread connecting him to survival. By day 65, isolation gnawed at his mind. Hallucinations returned, whispers in the waves, fleeting shapes, glowing eyes under the surface. Yet Michael forced logic to dominate fear. He spoke aloud to himself, reasoning through every imagined threat. Mental resilience became as vital as physical endurance. Survival was now both mind and body. Day 66, Michael spotted dolphins again. They swam beside him, playful yet guiding, as if showing the way to safety. He followed cautiously, learning patterns, currents, and hidden dangers. Even amid the Bermuda Triangle's chaos, small allies appeared strange, miraculous, reinforcing that the ocean had both cruelty and unexpected kindness. By day 67, he discovered floating seaweed mats teeming with small fish. Michael improvised nets from his tarp and shoelaces. He caught enough to sustain himself for several days. Resourcefulness had become his survival weapon. Each meal, each sip of water, each breath was a reminder of the precarious balance between life and death in these waters. Day 68 brought another test. A giant shadow glided beneath the raft. Fear gripped him. It was a massive sea creature, perhaps a shark or something stranger. Michael held still, heart racing, as the predator circled. Eventually, it vanished into the depths. The encounter left him shaken but wiser. Caution and patience could save his life. By day 69, Michael's strength had waned, but his experience compensated. He read the currents, tracked the wind, and navigated slowly but effectively. Survival had become a precise dance, each movement deliberate. The triangle's mysteries still loomed, yet he had learned to move within them, balancing courage with caution. On day 70, a glimmer appeared on the horizon. Michael's heart surged. Was it a mirage or salvation? He paddled furiously toward it, refusing to let exhaustion slow him. Every stroke was agony, but hope propelled him forward. The speck grew into the unmistakable shape of a rescue vessel, a promise of life after 90 relentless days at sea. As he neared the vessel, Michael waved frantically, shouting hoarse cries. The crew spotted him and threw lifelines. Trembling, he grasped them, pulled aboard, collapsing into blankets. Relief flooded his body, mingling with disbelief. He had endured 90 days of storms, isolation, hunger, and fear, and he had survived the Bermuda Triangle. On board, the crew offered food, water, and warmth. Michael shivered uncontrollably, tears streaming. He recounted his ordeal, storms that defied imagination, sharks and sea creatures, hallucinations, and miraculous finds. Every story was a testament to the ocean's danger and beauty. Each breath of air felt like a gift he would never take for granted again. The world soon learned of his survival. Headlines screamed, "Man survives 90 days in Bermuda Triangle." Scientists marveled at his account, currents that defied explanation, floating wreckage, creatures, and hallucinations that hinted at the unknown. Michael became a symbol of human endurance and resilience, a living legend. Despite fame, Michael sought solitude. He would sit quietly, staring at calm waters, remembering the endless waves, towering storms, and eerie night skies. The ocean had tested him in every conceivable way, shaping his mind and spirit. He had survived the unimaginable, yet the memory of the sea would remain forever vivid. Yet, sometimes in dreams, he heard the triangle calling. Shadows, flashes of movement beneath the waves, and the endless blue reminded him that the ocean's mysteries were eternal. Though safe, he felt a part of himself still adrift in those waters, a survivor tethered to a realm few humans ever witness. Michael reflected on survival lessons, patience, resourcefulness, observation, and courage. The ocean's danger had refined him, teaching him to see patterns, anticipate threats, and respect life in all forms. He understood that surviving the triangle required more than endurance. It demanded adaptation, intelligence, and unwavering spirit. He remembered storms that smashed his raft, sea creatures that circled, hunger that gnawed endlessly, and hallucinations that tested his mind. Each challenge strengthened his resolve. Survival was no longer a desperate fight. It was a calculated, conscious engagement with an indifferent, awe-inspiring environment. By day 90, Michael was a changed man. The boy who boarded that doomed plane was gone. In his place stood a survivor of the most unforgiving ocean. He had faced death countless times, yet each encounter only deepened his understanding of life, resilience, and the raw beauty of the natural world. Finally, safe on solid ground, Michael looked back at the ocean with gratitude and fear. He knew he had cheated death through courage, skill, and a stubborn refusal to surrender. The Bermuda Triangle remained a place of mystery and danger, but he had proven that human will could endure even its darkest depths. Michael's story became legend, told around the world, a tale of 90 days alone in the Bermuda Triangle. Storms, predators, hallucinations, and miraculous survival. He returned not just alive, but transformed, a living reminder of the fragility of life, the power of hope, and the untamed majesty of the ocean. The world would never forget him.